Tonight, the big question is whether or not the country is ready to go back to normal life. Indeed, the answer to this question continues to elude President Akufo-Addo and key national players as a threat of the coronavirus pandemic continues to haunt the country. The president on Sunday lifted the lockdown on Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi and Kaswa, but failed to open the gates for churches, schools and other social activities. The fear is that this could lead to a spike in the number of infections if the country is opened up too soon. At the Jubilee House on Tuesday, the president engaged leadership of the church and the Council of State on the way forward.
We've insisted that the other measures that were still in place, which are still in place, needed to continue as part of our fight against the virus. And these largely are the major ones: the ban against public gatherings, the continuing ban against travel into our country, the closure of our schools, the rules about how workplaces should be organized. And now we have we cannot focus exclusively on the health, because we also have to look at the future. These measures that we have taken cannot be a permanent feature of our national life. We cannot live in Ghana year after year under these conditions. We have to find a way to continue our existence, the development of our country, the development of our economy, which takes into account the situation where now everybody except myself is in a mask. We have to find a way. So that therefore is also part of the considerations that now are now on the table for us to look at. And I felt that all of these, especially, not to make it to sound as if somehow or other it is just a professional interest you have in your communities and in your congregations. That's why I brought you here. But obviously, you are also major actors in this drama. The banning of public gatherings that affects the churches affects each one of you. But I felt that with all of this as a background, with the role that already you have played, that you continue to play, that it will be a good moment for us to meet again and exchange views, share views as to the way forward for our country. These are the measures that are in place. When will it be prudent for us to lift them? At what stage we had envisaged lifting the ban on public gatherings? At what stage should we have our schools reopen again? When can we open our borders? And for that exercise, I think that your input, the decisions that government should be, is invaluable.
Chairman of the Christian Council of Ghana, Right Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena Boafo, said the church is hard hit by the ban on social gatherings, but pledged the support of the Christian faith to the president's initiative.
We would continue, first, to play our role as the places of hope for our people. When it comes to the church, we stand in, and in our live streaming and the way we have reached our people, we have brought hope to them. We've brought a sense of healing. And in that, they have also looked up to God, the one who can see us through this pandemic. And the church will continue to do that. Even as we sit here, we've just closed from a meeting where all of us have come together to organize a 3 days national prayer and fasting program starting Friday through to Sunday this very week, which is part of our response to the COVID-19 pandemic and how Ghana is also helping to fight it. This is an exercise in which all of us coming together virtually, praying and asking for God's intervention and His direction as we go through this pandemic. So it is a good thing for you to even call us here this afternoon so that we can also make this to you that we are behind what the government is doing, and we'll do it such that at the end of the day, we'll all rejoice for it, that we stood together, we were in it together, and we have battled to win together.
President Akufo-Addo indicated the Ghana Health Service will in the coming days announce guidelines to regulate the production of nose masks in the country.
Of health, I'm hoping any day, imminently, today, tomorrow, before the week is out, will come out with guidelines on what should be the minimum requirements and the minimum standards for producing an acceptable. I know there are lots of people, as we're speaking, are making face masks in their own homes, etc. But I think that for public health reasons, it's important that we should have some minimum standards that go into the making of the face masks. And I think the once that comes out, then the mass production and everything can be seriously advanced. At the moment, the domestic production that we have ramped up is being confined to satisfying the needs of the health workers. That's been our first port of call. The hospitals and all of those who work in them are those who are the first port of call for the nose masks that are being made in the country. I think from there to the mass production, where we can get to a situation where everybody can have one, we will need to have some minimum standards certified by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Standards Board, etc. And then we can go out. It's one of the things, Anna, too, that has been very encouraging in this crisis, the ingenuity of Ghanaians in responding to this. First of all, on the part of our private sector, they've stood up to be counted, producing sanitizers in large quantities now, and the masks and the PPEs are all coming out in greater and greater numbers, and I have every hope that it will be sustained. The government is using its power of purchase, its purchasing power, to stimulate this development in the economy in this very